Give the call to the honourable member for North Sydney.
Given the New South Wales EPA ordered Coles and Woolworths to dump more than 5,200 tonnes or 5 billion pieces of soft plastic into landfill from their failed red cycle scheme, and acknowledging that single-use plastic is not only a pollution crisis but a climate one—
If the member can resume his, I've just got to ask her to state the question of who you're directing the question to. I'll just ask the clock to be reset and I'll give the call to the member for North Sydney.
I was distracted, sorry. My question is to the Minister for Environment and Water. Given the New South Wales EPA ordered Coles and Woolworths to dump more than 5,200 tonnes or 5 billion pieces of soft plastic waste into landfill from their failed red cycle scheme, and acknowledging that single-use plastic is not only a pollution crisis but a climate one, will the Minister force change by introducing a levy on the production and consumption of single-use plastics made from virgin plastic?
The call to the Minister for the Environment and Water.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and I want to thank the member for North Sydney for her very important question. She's quite right to identify the scale of this problem and the importance of this problem of soft plastics and the failure of those opposite to institute real change in recycling, particularly for soft plastics. The report that she's referring to says 139 million tonnes of plastics were produced in 2021. And what that means in practice for Australia is that by 2050, if we keep going the way we're going, the plastic in the oceans will weigh more than the fish in the oceans by 2050. In Australia, the average Australian is ingesting about a credit card's worth of microplastics every week through the food and the water they drink. So it is a shame that we've wasted a decade, but we are turning that around. This government has committed to a $250 million investment in upgrading recycling infrastructure with the states and territories and the private sector, including specifically $60 million for those hard-to-recycle plastics like soft plastics. We know that families around Australia have been doing the right thing. They've been collecting their soft plastics, they've been schlepping it down to the supermarket, and then instead of it being recycled, it's sitting in warehouses causing environmental problems. We've established the Circular Economy Advisory Group that includes, it's chaired by John Thwaites. It includes our Chief Scientist, Engineers Australia, Chemistry Australia, the CSIRO. With the Minister for Industry, we're investing in research grants to support the circular economy. We've joined international efforts to reduce the use of plastics around the world. We've joined the High Ambition Coalition to End Plastic Pollution, and we've signed the New Plastics Global Commitment. We are one of 500 governments and businesses around the world to have signed up. Of course, those opposite could have done this stuff. In fact, they announced, you announced some very ambitious targets. You did. You announced very ambitious targets 4 years ago. An ambitious target of 70% recycling of plastic by 2025. Guess where they got to? 16% they got to. 16% you've been at for 4 years. So I wouldn't be interjecting if I were you. I'd be very careful with that one. Can I say, Mr Speaker, that this is such an exciting area. We have scientists at the University of Technology working on algae-based replacements for plastics. We've got enzyme-based recycling at Australian National University through Samsara Labs. That means almost endless, infinite capacity to recycle plastics. And for every job in landfill, taking stuff to the landfill and dumping it, there are 3 jobs in recycling. That's what we're about.
The Minister's time has expired.